My perspective is a little bit future focused, and I see two big challenges. We have very application level example. I want to just shift it a little bit. Number one, I just touched upon it first, is the human nature, the way we think, the way we act. And number two is the upcoming, in the next 6 to 12 months, infrastructure that is actually literally gonna, software has been matured enough and evolved enough, but in a year, in maybe less than a year, we're not going to have enough infrastructure to support it, so that would be a huge challenge. But going back to the human part, I can emphasize how, I talked about the 3 founder unicorns concept, and then interestingly enough, many of these founders I talk to, and they don't even see this as a value, or they don't recognize they're doing it. They're just doing it because now they can. Like, an example is, in automation and how you could really build your agents to accelerate. When I was a founder, I reached a point in my startup that I needed to come up with a marketing plan. From product management perspective, yes, I have a big ego and everything and reputation, but I've never designed or launched a marketing plan. But also, I didn't want to pick up the phone and talk to my friends and be an absolute idiot that I don't know anything about marketing. So what I did is spent about 10 days 15 hours a day reading about marketing, and internet is full of junk, so it took me a while to even figure out what is a good source, what is not, and then eventually at the end of the 10 days, I had kind of 2 rough plans that would make sense for my type of startups, and then I picked up the phone and I'm like, hey buddy, I have these 2, could you walk me through? Again, after half an hour, 1 hour, I came up with really good plans. What would I do right now, today, is that I'm going to sit in front of ChatGPT in 2 hours. I'm going to talk me through, teach me marketing for a startup, and ask me 20 relevant questions, give me 10 marketing plan for this case, and then give me pros and cons and reduce it. And after 3 hours, I have that 2 plans that I pick up the phone and call my friend. And then again, this clarity of not mixing generative AI products should be the big hot thing, as you said. That's not the case. Is how to smartly use generative AI as a tool to create. And the example, the way that I understand it also is, going back to every technological breakthrough, there are kind of 2 or 3 layers of innovation. Number one is infrastructure. Companies come, create an infrastructure that is accessible to everyone right now. It wasn't before, and makes it easier, faster. Think about, again, cloud, right? A few companies very quickly took over the market. Amazon Web Services, as a Googler, I have the right to say Google fashionably late to the game tried, and kind of caught its 25% market share of $70 billion industry. And, but then that infrastructure enabled plethora of innovation in application layer, and so many people who would never dream of being founders became extraordinary. Founders built extraordinary companies, and then comes platform. But right now, when we talk about generative AI, again, we kind of have that infrastructure. OpenAI launched, and then other big companies who fashionably late again, they're trying to catch up. But these startups shouldn't think about, I can build this next generation generative AI, whatever. That's not the name of the game. The name of the game is, how could you build faster, cheaper, and more efficiently? And then the future of the world that I see it is going to be literally, we are at the kind of a tipping point where we can build our own virtual workforce. So the challenges are more in perception of we lose the eyes on the prize, is that how can I most effectively automate my processes to, how can I most strategically use advisors and people who I can have, kind of a checkpoint with them whenever needed. And how can I build whatever my IP is that couldn't and doesn't even have to be, to your point, generative AI or AI, but build it really fast and win. And I think if smart founders could kind of create clarity for them, they could build extraordinary, valuable products using generative AI, but whatever they want to build and dominate.